Hello, my friend. Today, I want to tell you a story that hides one of the most powerful secrets in life. The secret to unshakable confidence. It is a story about fear, courage, and the invisible strength that every human being carries inside. But most people never find it, because they keep searching for confidence in the wrong place. This is not just a story of success. It is the story of discovering your true power. The kind that cannot be shaken by failure, fear, or rejection. There was once a young man named Ethan. He lived in a small town, surrounded by people who never believed in big dreams. Every morning, he looked into the mirror and saw someone who wanted to do great things, but who also doubted himself deeply. He had ideas, he had passion, but every time he tried to speak up, his voice would tremble. He would look down, afraid of being judged, afraid of being laughed at. In school, he was called the quiet one. At work, he was seen as the shy guy. And inside, that label started to feel like a prison. One day, Ethan's company announced a public speaking competition. The winner would receive a promotion and the chance to lead a new project. His heart told him to sign up, but his mind whispered, "You can't do it." For 3 days, he kept thinking about it, watching others confidently raise their hands while he stayed silent. But on the 4th day, something changed. He remembered his grandfather's words, spoken long ago. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to move despite it. Those words echoed in his mind like a soft but powerful song. And so, with shaking hands, he finally signed his name on the list. That night, he couldn't sleep. His mind was full of doubts. What if I forget my words? What if they laugh? What if I fail? He stood in front of his mirror, trying to practice his speech. But the moment he looked into his own eyes, fear froze him again. He hated that feeling, the invisible wall between who he was and who he wanted to be. He felt trapped in his own thoughts. And yet, deep inside, he knew this moment could change everything. The day of the competition arrived. The room was filled with colleagues, lights, and nervous energy. One by one, people went up to speak. Some were brilliant, some were funny, some spoke with perfect confidence. Then it was Ethan's turn. His palms were sweating, his knees weak, his heart racing like a drum. As he walked to the stage, a small voice in his head whispered, "You're going to mess up." But then something unexpected happened. He took one deep breath and remembered something his grandfather once told him while teaching him to swim. Confidence doesn't come before action, Ethan. It comes after you act. In that moment, he understood. Confidence is not something you wait to feel. It's something you build by doing the thing you're afraid of. So he smiled, lifted his head, and began to speak. His voice trembled at first, but with each word, he grew stronger. He spoke about courage, failure, and how everyone wears masks to hide their fears. The audience listened, not because he was perfect, but because he was real. And when he finished, there was a silence, followed by something he never expected. Applause. Ethan didn't win the competition that day, but he walked off the stage with something far more valuable: self-respect. He had faced his fear and survived. For the first time, he felt a deep peace inside. That night, when he looked into the mirror, he saw a different person. Not someone fearless, but someone brave. Someone who acted even when fear was present. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, something inside him changed. He began volunteering to speak in meetings. He started conversations with strangers. He began taking small steps, each one uncomfortable, but each one powerful. Every time he acted despite fear, he built another layer of confidence. It was no longer about being perfect. It was about being present. One morning, while walking to work, Ethan saw a little boy crying near a playground. The boy had fallen from a swing. Ethan helped him up and said, "You're strong, aren't you?" The boy nodded, wiping his tears. "Then try again," Ethan said gently. The boy climbed the swing again, afraid but determined. And when he started swinging again, Ethan smiled, because he realized the same rule applied to him. Confidence is like learning to swing. You can't learn it by standing still. You must push, fall, and push again. Months later, Ethan's company faced a challenge. Their project leader resigned suddenly, and everyone panicked. The manager asked, "Who can lead this team?" Silence filled the room. Then, before he could think, Ethan raised his hand. The room turned toward him. Some looked surprised, but he stood tall. He wasn't trying to look confident. He simply was. He had built it one action at a time. Leading the project wasn't easy. There were setbacks, disagreements, and sleepless nights. But Ethan didn't collapse under pressure. He had learned that confidence doesn't mean you never fail. It means you never give up because of failure. His calm energy inspired his team. They trusted him, not because he was the loudest voice, but because he was steady when others were afraid. When the project finally succeeded, his manager said, "You've grown, Ethan. You've become someone people can rely on." That evening, Ethan went home and sat by his window watching the sunset. He realized something profound. Unshakable confidence isn't about how the world sees you. It's about how you see yourself. It's not about pretending to be strong. It's about accepting that fear and strength can live inside you at the same time. It's not about control. It's about trust. Trust that you can handle whatever comes next. Years passed. Ethan became a mentor, teaching others what he had once struggled to learn. He noticed that many people waited for confidence before starting anything, waiting for the perfect time, waiting to feel ready. But he would tell them, confidence is not the fire. It's the spark you create when you step into the unknown. He explained that every confident person you admire once felt the same fear you do. The only difference is, they didn't wait for it to disappear. They acted anyway. One day, a young woman named Mia came to him. She wanted to apply for a scholarship abroad, but was afraid of rejection. "What if I fail?" she asked. Ethan smiled and said, "Then you'll learn. And if you learn, you win." His words reminded her that the true enemy was not failure. It was hesitation. She applied, faced her fear, and got accepted. When she called Ethan to thank him, he said softly, "You didn't need me to give you confidence. You already had it. You just needed to see it." Ethan's life became a living example of his lesson. He spoke at schools, companies, and seminars, sharing the truth he discovered. That unshakable confidence is built, not found. It's built through honesty, repetition, and courage. It's built by showing up, even when your hands shake. It's built by falling and standing again. And most importantly, it's built when you stop comparing yourself to others and start believing in your own progress. He often ended his talks with a story about his grandfather. He would tell the audience about the day his grandfather taught him to swim, how Ethan had panicked in the water, thinking he would drown, until his grandfather simply said, "Trust yourself. You already know how to float." That's when he understood the final truth. Confidence isn't about control. It's about letting go, trusting that you will rise. Ethan's story reminds us of something timeless. You don't need to eliminate fear to become confident. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions. Confidence grows in motion, not in waiting. When you do the thing you're afraid of, your mind learns that you can survive it. And once you know that, nothing can truly shake you again. In every moment of doubt, remember Ethan's journey. He didn't wake up one morning fearless. He became confident one step at a time. He practiced, he failed, he learned, and he kept going. That's how you build unshakable confidence, not by waiting for courage, but by creating it through action. Because confidence isn't a gift, it's a habit. And maybe, just maybe, the same power that transformed Ethan's life is already waiting inside you. Waiting for that one brave moment when you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start saying, "What if I fly?"